Imagine if, instead of seeking easy distractions and quick rewards, your brain was eager to take on challenges and work hard. Sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? After all, most of us feel that inner resistance when we think about complex tasks, looking for any excuse to mentally escape. But here's the thing, this dynamic can be changed, and faster than you might think. There's a way to rewire your dopamine to feel satisfaction in activities that require effort and dedication. If you've tried to overcome procrastination only to find yourself stuck in the same cycle of avoidance, maybe you're missing the real secret, getting your brain to crave the reward that comes from a job well done. Dopamine tends to have a bit of a complicated reputation, doesn't it? We often think of it as that friend who only shows up for the party, always linked to distractions and even addictions. But what if I told you that, with the right techniques, you could turn this party into pure productivity? Imagine that each small victory, from completing a task to resisting a temptation, is a way to train your brain to focus better and for longer periods. How about starting with small daily goals? This way, you're teaching your brain to release dopamine with intention and purpose. If this idea excites you, go ahead and subscribe here to the channel to learn more about it. One of the keys to mastering this process is to hack your own system. Have you ever noticed that when you check off a task on your list, you feel a small rush of pleasure? That's dopamine. It's like a reward you earned for maintaining focus. The trick is to learn how to channel this impulse toward productive activities. Instead of getting lost on social media, for example, why not use that time to learn something new, like a memorization technique or a physical exercise challenge? This way, you turn dopamine into an ally for your personal development. This ability to manipulate focus through dopamine is like training a muscle. It takes practice and discipline. One helpful technique is to set up dopamine intervals, breaks where you dedicate full attention to a specific and enjoyable activity that also adds value to your life. Think of it as a micro-habit of productivity. Try reading an interesting article or doing a guided meditation to relax your mind before tackling an important task. But remember, dopamine is a powerful tool, and when used correctly, it can take your focus to a whole new level. Speaking of which, have you ever thought about how your mind can be resensitized? Topic 2: Meditation Experience and Resensitization. Imagine spending 9 days in complete silence, with no phone, no commitments, and none of the constant stimulation we're so accustomed to. That's what I experienced in a Zen retreat. The goal? To resensitize the brain, making the simplest things in life, like drinking a glass of water or watching a leaf fall, enjoyable again. Sounds silly, right? But this practice of resensitization brings a peace of mind and a sense of pleasure that's nearly forgotten in our daily routines. Ever thought about taking a break like that? It could be a retreat, a day without technology, or even just a few minutes of silence. Try it out and comment below to share what you felt. The experience showed me that our brains become dulled by constant stimuli, losing the ability to appreciate subtle things. At the retreat, without constant music, without the flood of entertainment, each small sensation was amplified. It was as if the taste of food, the sound of birds, and even the silence itself became new again. Imagine applying this to your daily life. You'd start to rediscover pleasure in activities you now consider mundane. Something as simple as walking without your phone could be a first step toward experiencing this resensitization. Want a practical example? Try making it a habit to have your breakfast in silence, without checking your phone or reading the news. Gradually, you'll start noticing the taste of your food, the smell of your coffee, and even the ambience around you becoming more vivid. This small exercise in mindfulness helps resensitize your brain, and you'll feel a difference in how you approach your daily routine. By the way, if you like this idea, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe, because this is just one of many ways to train your mind to feel more with fewer stimuli. But can dopamine detox really work? Topic 3: Dopamine detox isn't real, but resensitization is. The idea of a dopamine detox is tempting, but scientifically speaking, it doesn't actually exist. Dopamine is part of our natural system. It's like the brain's fuel to motivate us. What we can do, however, is reduce the excess stimuli that bombard our minds, thereby increasing our sensitivity to the pleasure of simple activities. Think about cutting down on social media, for instance. By reducing these constant stimuli, you start finding more pleasure in routine tasks, like reading a book or even taking care of a plant. So, have you thought about trying it? This concept is intriguing because it shows us that there's no need to cut everything out at once. Instead of a detox, what you can do is resensitize your dopamine system. It's like tuning an instrument, adjusting how you relate to what brings you pleasure. For example, you could set aside a time each day to stay away from screens and perhaps explore a hobby, like playing an instrument or journaling. This kind of activity helps redefine what's truly rewarding and shifts the focus away from digital distractions. The most remarkable thing is that, with this practice, your brain learns to value small accomplishments without needing intense stimulation. Even something as simple as taking a walk without listening to music starts to feel special. It's a mental exercise, gradually adapting you to a fuller, slower-paced lifestyle. Fascinating, right? But how can we redefine these rewarding stimuli in our daily lives? Topic 4. Redefining rewarding stimuli. Redefining what we consider rewarding can completely transform our relationship with routine. The idea here is to replace intense stimuli with simpler experiences that, over time, bring deep and lasting pleasure. For instance, instead of seeking instant gratification on social media, you could take up a hobby like gardening or crafting. These activities, though seemingly simple, offer small rewards that, while subtle, have a calming and enduring effect on our brain. This shift requires patience, but the payoff is immense. As you grow accustomed to these calmer activities, you'll notice that the need for intense stimuli naturally diminishes. Taking a walk without your phone, simply observing the scenery or listening to ambient sounds, is a practice that organically redefines pleasure. Have you ever tried this? Share in the comments how it felt to appreciate the present moment without digital distractions. Over time, you'll find that pleasure lies in the details and the subtlety of experiences that once may have seemed mundane. In this way, you transform your environment and your mind, making them more serene and rewarding. This practice is like building a new pleasure foundation, less reliant on peaks of stimulation and more connected to moments of tranquility. Now, let's explore some practical strategies to increase this sensitivity to dopamine. Topic 5. Strategies to increase dopamine sensitivity. Increasing dopamine sensitivity is like exercising patience, but with great rewards. A practical strategy is to take boring breaks throughout the day, such as pausing for a few minutes to simply observe your surroundings without reaching for your phone. It may seem too simple, but these intervals help your brain relax and appreciate the small moments. By adopting this practice, you'll notice that your focus and concentration start to improve. Why not try taking this kind of break between tasks? Another powerful technique is to embrace the in-between moments, those gaps between one activity and the next, without seeking immediate distraction. For instance, while waiting in line or in traffic, resist the urge to grab your phone. Use this time to notice details around you, things that often go unnoticed. This practice of presence strengthens your dopamine system, making everyday life more enjoyable without overloads. Share in the comments if you've ever tried something like this and how it made you feel afterward. Finally, focusing on one task at a time helps build a healthier relationship with pleasure and dopamine. Instead of multitasking, try dedicating yourself fully to a single activity, whether it's reading a book, doing a physical activity, or watching a video like this one. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. This increases the sense of satisfaction and reduces the need for spikes of stimulation. It's like training your brain to find reward in the present moment. Now that you hold the secret to transforming your dopamine into a driving force, the question isn't if you're going to do something with it, but how and when you'll begin. Just imagine, in a matter of days, the same activities that once seemed boring could become exactly what motivates you to go further. Are you ready to take control? To try out this new routine and see what happens when focus becomes natural and enjoyable? Leave a comment about which strategy you're going to try first, and don't forget to subscribe to follow this transformative journey, where each step can bring you closer to your best self.